The 12th of November, Rabbi, First Pierke Avos.
Thank you. As Lou mentioned, this is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here at Sivas Samanavshi here in Shlem Care of Zoom. Our first show this morning, Pierke Avos, the sixth parak. The Bryce are discussing the five kinyanim Kadosh Baruch Hu made in his world. The Torah is kinyan echad, Shemai Varis is kinyan echad, Avram Avinu is kinyan echad, Klal Yisrael is kinyan echad, and finally and fifthly, the Beis Hamikdash is the fifth kinyan. And as I just was recapping, the Maharal Prague is dealing with the difference between this Bryce in Avos and the Gemara in Psachim. This Bryce in Avos lists Avram Avinu as one of the five kinyanim, whereas the Gemara in Psachim only lists four and does not list Avram Avinu as one of the four. And they're not four. There's only four, not five, and Avram Avinu is not in the list. Question is why? So maybe just to recap that, we can start with this paragraph beginning Derech HaChaim Al Avos Perek Vav Mishnah Yud V'Teida. So
V'achar kach Amar Avraham Kinyan Echad. And afterwards, he said, Avraham is one acquisition. B'zeh ki Avraham haya ha-tzadik harishon. And this is because Abraham was the first tzaddik, first righteous person.
right, very good.
Shechach amru b'gemara b'meseches avodah zorah, and thus it says in the Gemara in the book of avodah zorah, ki shnei alafim hayu tohu ad sheva of Avraham ukamo she ba arnu le mala beperech bish. I'm sorry, ba'asra v'hu haya harishon shehaya b'ri'ah b'min ha'adam. Okay, so
yeah, let's review this. Yeah.
Therefore, it says in the Gemara in Avodah Zorah, because 2,000 were
2000. I mean, these are the years. The first 2,000 years were tohu,
were empty.
Nothingness. Yeah, empty. Nothingness, empty.
Until the Abraham came.
Right, but all those years, those 2,000 years which existed before Abraham Avinu came onto the scene, were nothing, empty. Could even say of no value.
What a waste!
No value. Excuse me?
I said, what a waste of time.
Well, Kadosh Baruch Hu gave humanity time, but they didn't make use of it.
Oh, humanity was around during the 2,000 years?
Excuse me?
You're saying humanity was there during the 2,000 years?
Yeah. This until these 2,000 years, until Abraham Avinu came, was told it was waste. That they didn't Avram Avinu, we'll see. Avram Avinu was unique. We'll see his uniqueness.
Right, because Abraham Avinu was born in 1948. So that's almost 2,000 years. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. Mhm.
Ukamo she be'arnu, and it's like that which they say above.
As we explained above.
As we explained above, in the chapter of Ba'asra, and it was, or he was the first that had a covenant.
Well, here, as we explained, but Pierke Ba'asara, Muhuhaya Harishon Shaya Bria Bimin Ha'adam. Abram Avinu was the first. Harishon, he was the first. Shaya Bria, he was the first being of the min Adam, of that which is considered to be Adam, to be considered of man. He was the first person considered to be the first human.
Okay. So we're talking about Abraham, or we're talking about Adam?
No, Abraham.
Abraham was the first being of the type human. Ulefichach mitzad hazeh haya echad. And because of this, from the perspective of, I'm sorry, and lefichach, therefore, from this perspective, he was unique.
Right.
V'chach kasiv beperush Yeshaya. Beperush Yeshaya. Havito al Avraham avichem v'al Sarah ticholechem ki achar kar asav. V'chein, and so it is written in the chapter of Yeshaya Nun Aleph, Habito, the daughter.
Right.
El Avraham, the daughter of Avraham, Avichem.
No, this Habito El Avram. This is what Bito would be with a tough. This is what it says. Bito is to he looked upon Abraham, Avichem.
He looked upon Abraham, our father.
Right. Well, their father, Avichem.
Their father, and to Sarah, Ticholechem, I don't know.
That Ticholechem, that and he I think he was giving praise to them. He was praising them.
Because of one, because they were called one.
Because ki echad kirov. I think they were calling out ki echad karov. They were. I think that's a reference to a Kadosh Baruch Hu.
I'm sorry, I'm not following. Because the
Let's
one
see. I'll tell you.
out.
Jacob, let's take we have your Tanakh. This is really a pasuk in Tanakh. I think it's worthwhile seeing the pasuk inside.
Okay.
Okay, so that's in Yeshaya, Nun Aleph. Let me see. I can't tell you exactly which
Yeshaya.
yeah, that's Yeshaya pasuk base in chapter Nun Aleph.
Nun is 50.
All right.
So 51, 2. 51, 2. Okay, I'll start with the beginning of 51. Hearken
Sure.
to me, you that follow after righteousness, you that seek the Lord, look to the rock whence you are hewn, and to the hole of the pit from which you were dug out. Now here's our pasuk. Look to Abraham, your father, and to Sarah that bore you. For he was but one when I called him, and I blessed him and increased him. Okay. All
I
right.
think the point is he was called one. What does it mean that Abram was one? What's that supposed to mean? So,
He was but one when I called him.
right, so um
And then it says, I blessed him and increased him. So maybe it's referring to his family. He was one individual, and then he was blessed and increased, meaning he had children and grandchildren, and he became a numerous.
right. Um, let's take a look. Um,
But I still don't really get this pasuk.
yeah, what's the tell me what's difficult about the pasuk? Um,
Look to Abraham your father, and to Sarah that bore you. So he's talking to the Jewish people.
yeah, I think so. Avichem, right? Your father, Avichem, your father. That would be the Jewish people, correct?
Okay, so I guess I do get it. You Jewish people who are part of the nation that is associated with Abraham, that makes him numerous. Um, he was only one when I called him, and now look, he's millions.
Right. So, um, this one can also mean like unique or exclusive, right?
Right?
So Avram Avinu was exclusive. That that's what the Maharal is using this pasuk to prove. That this pasuk is a testimony to the uniqueness of Avram Avinu. That for the 2,000 years before Avram Avinu came onto the scene, so the earth was considered to be, or humanity was considered to be, time was considered to be of no value. It was only until Avram Avinu came onto the scene and he was the first person to be considered to be human, and then at that point things began to be worthwhile. Before that, there was no worth in human accomplishments. Human accomplishments were not considered to be worthwhile until Avram Avinu came.
Okay.
1 second, let me just see. I think Roy is joining us. Roy, is there? Do you hear us?
Roy, you're muted.
Right.
Oh,
All
you
right.
there?
I had an awful lot of trouble. I've been trying all this time to get in. The computer's been playing up, so I've got onto the laptop. All right. Sorry. I keep hearing you, but I couldn't contact you. So please continue, and I'll try and catch up.
Okay, so we're at this point in the Maharal Miprag here that the Maharal Miprag is explaining based on a pasuk in Yeshaya. If you see where the pointer is on the screen, it is a pasuk in Yeshaya.
Oh yes.
Habitu el Abraham Avichem. You should observe, look at Abraham, your father, ve'el Sarah, so Holechem, and Sarah, the one who bore you. Ki echad karo'ov. They are considered to be one. Meaning one, not necessarily just one meaning singular, but you consider to be exclusive. And unique. That Abraham Avinu was the one who initiated worthwhile human activity. Before that, for the 2,000 years before Abraham Avinu initiated worthwhile human activity, the world was considered to be of waste, of worthlessness. Okay.
All right.
Weiter?
Yeah, that's right.
Ukavar ha'arachnu bezeh ma'od besefer Guvuras Hashem Ki Avraham Shehi I'm sorry, Shehaya His Chala V'chol His Chala B'ma Shehu His Chala Hu Echad. And afterwards, what is ha'arachnu?
We have elaborated. Our arachnu was we have elaborated.
And after we elaborated on this very much, in the book of the great ones, I'm sorry, the greatness of Hashem,
Well, this is the name of the Sefer, Gevuras Hashem. That's one of the Svarim of the Maharal Miprag called Gevuras Hashem, the might of Hashem.
The might of Hashem. Because Abraham was initially
He was Shahid Hatechila. He was an initiator.
initiate.
Right. He was initiator. He was this is a noun. He was a initiator.
He was an initiator, and all initiators, with that which they initiate, are unique.
Right. Like nowadays, they would call him a disruptor. Right.
Right.
He's messing around with the status quo.
Right.
Right. To be called Avramin will be called a disruptor. You like that, Roy? Avramin would be called him a disruptor.
Oh yes, he was a disruptor for his the culture in which he was brought up in.
That's right. Things had to change.
Mm-hmm.
Kadosh Baruch Hu didn't want things to continue as they were, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was time that Avram came on the scene and started changing things.
Lefichach amar ki echad karasav velo matzinu b'chol ha-avos shechach ne'emar al sheva al shum echad chutz me Avraham. Lefichach, and therefore, he said, because he is called one.
Right. That's because that's the and this is based on the pasuk, right? The pasuk is testifying that Avraham Avinu was called Echad. He was called unique, exclusive.
And we do not find in all of the forefathers what is shechach?
Right. Meaning, when it comes to Yitzchak Avinu and Yaakov Avinu, so there's a lot of things said about them, but the fact that they were not called Echad, they were not called exclusive, only Avram Avinu was given that distinction of being Echad, being exclusive, unique.
So this is not said about all the other avos.
Right. V'lo mitzinu b'kol avos shekach nemar. We don't find in all the other avos, Yitzchak Avinu and Yaakov Avinu, shekach nemar, that it was said about them.
Concerning anything that's one, except for Abraham.
Right. There was no connotation, neither by Yitzchak Avinu nor by Yaakov Avinu, that they were specifically unique, as was pointed out by Avram Avinu. By Avram Avinu, he was distinguished as being singularly unique and exclusive. And we don't see this distinction given to any of the other Avos, Yaakov Avinu or Yitzchak Avinu. Which is not it's not a criticism of Yitzchak Avinu or Yaakov Avinu. It's simply saying, it's pointing out that we see that Avraham Avinu was the initiator of what needed to be done to make a serious positive change in the history and psyche of humanity.
ולפיכך עליו נאמר שהיה כנינאו של הקדוש ברוך הוא. And therefore, concerning him is said that he was a acquisition of Hashem mitzad atzmo mipnei shehaya echad v'haya hu kinyano shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. From the perspective of himself, because that he was one and he was an acquisition of Hashem. V'zeh she'amru b'meseches psachim, and that which is said in the book of Psachim, v'haya bracha b'cha chusamin v'lo bahem ulama chosmin v'Avraham. And it was a blessing, and there was a blessing in this. Chosmin. I don't know what chosmin is.
Okay, so that literally it means that a chosim is like a seal, meaning like something which is closing something, right? V'haya bracha b'chosmin v'lo them. When we say these, I think he's referring to the bracha that we say Magen Avraham. When we say that bracha Magen Avraham, we don't end off with a bracha about Yitzchak. We don't end off with a bracha about Yaakov. All right, we mentioned all the Avos in that bracha, but only Avraham Avinu is repeated at the end, and we close the bracha with the name and the mention of Avraham Avinu, Magen Avraham.
And not with them.
Right.
Seal the bracha with Avraham and not with Yitzchak and Yaakov. And what does this word chos mean? Oh, it's the same word. And why and why do we seal with Avraham?
Well, maybe you could use like conclude. Why do we conclude the bracha with Avraham?
Why do we conclude the bracha with Avraham? Mipnei she'ein roi lechasom rak be'echad she'ein chosmin bishasim
בשתיים.
בשתיים כדי עיסה במקומו. But because it's not proper to conclude, it's only proper to conclude with one that we do not what does chos mean?
We don't conclude, right? Shein kosmin, we don't conclude with two.
Conclude with two that are in that place.
As it is like explained there in that place, and there that would be in the Gemara in Psachim, I believe.
So
Gemara's discussion over there is, well, we make a conclusion of our first bracha in the Shmon Esrei Magen Avraham. So the Gemara is explaining why it's not proper to conclude except in a singular fashion. So we only mention Avraham Avinu. We don't have the option of mentioning maybe Yitzchak along with him or Yaakov along with him. We only can mention one. So it is the obvious choice. And why is the obvious choice? Because he was the initiator, and also we see a proof from that, the fact that the Navi speaks in the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and refers to Avraham Avinu as one.
and what was the reason why we established that we can't end with Yitzchak and Yaakov?
The rule is it's not a proper format to conclude one bracha with mentioning of two things. It's confusing the issue. One bracha should be relevant to one thing, not one bracha relevant to two things.
Don't we have other brachas that conclude with more than one thing?
There are brachas that do. There are. Why there are exceptions? For example, we have Mekadesh Yisrael ve'azmanim, like the bracha of Yom Tov, right? We say Kadosh Baruch is Mekadesh Yisrael, the Jewish people, ve'azmanim, and the given times. Right? So we mentioned
We have
Shabbos is there. We say Mekadesh Shabbos Yisrael ve'azmanim.
right.
So there are times when we do make a conclusion of a bracha with mention of more than one thing. Why this particular one's different, what the rules are, after there are various different detailed rules for these things. And sometimes there could be exceptions. Is there a good reason for the exception? So that you have to really know the Gemara well to find a good exception to the rule and why that would be considered acceptable. And change the rule for that. Right, that's all there in the Gemara and Psachim.
Right. ולפיכך אין לחסום רק באברהם בלבד, לפי שאברהם היה התחילה וכל אשר הוא התחילה הוא אחד. Lefichach, and therefore we do not conclude, we only conclude with Avraham alone, because that Abraham is the initiator, and all that he initiates is unique. Umevi Roy mid Chasiv Baruch Avram Lekel Elyon Konei Shemayim Ba'aretz. And it comes to be proper that which is written, blessed is Abraham, the God on high, acquirer of the heaven and the earth. Afal Gav, Delo, Deceive, Lashon, Kinyan, Rak al Shemayim Ba'aretz. Afal Gav is even though.
Right, that's right. That's right. Even
though that it's not written in an expression of acquisition, or it's only written in an expression of acquisition concerning the heaven and the earth. Makom makom e lav digan Avraham hu kinino shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu lo kasiv eitzlu koneh shemayim v'aretz dema inyano lekan. Nevertheless, if it's not, what's Dagan?
If it was not emphasized,
that Abraham was an acquisition of Hashem, it's not written by him, acquirer of the heaven and the earth.
Right, that by our Ravinu, it wasn't mentioned anything about it being a Kinyan. We're going to go back, we're going to review something, but let's finish the paragraph. Then we're going to go back and review.
Okay. What is the primary matter? What is lakan?
Right, that mal inyan lakan, meaning when it's referring to Avraham Avinu, right? It doesn't mention anything about koine, but it does mention about Shemayim ben Haaretz, and the question is the ma inyanu kan. What's the relevance? Ma, what is inyanu? What's the relevance lakan to here? What is its relevance to here?
Ella kach herusho baruch Avram lekel elyon konei shemayim va'aretz ukamo shekina shemayim va'aretz kach kina Avraham elav. Rather, this or thus, his explanation, the explanation of Hashem. The explanation of the quote, blessed is Avram to God on high, the acquirer of heaven and earth. It's like that he acquired heaven and earth. Thus, he acquired Abraham upon it.
Yeah, like rather Ella Kach Pirush. This is the explanation. It said, the pasuk said, Baruch Avraham lekel elyon keni shamaretz, that blessed is Abraham to a Kadosh Baruch Hu, the God on high, who acquires Shemayim v'aretz, who kamosha kana Shemayim v'aretz, and the explanation is just as Hashem acquired Shemayim v'aretz, right? Kach kana Avraham elam. Likewise, Hashem acquired Avraham. So, okay. To understand this, we're going to go back and do this over again, this paragraph, tomorrow. But to understand this paragraph, we have to go back to our first document. If you have access to your first document there.
Yeah, I have it.
So you see in the top part of the page, you see Abraham is underlined.
Yes.
So we have here Abraham koinin echad hinayim diksiv. So the Abraham is one of the possessions of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. From where do we know? So it quotes the source of the pasuk in Bereshis. Yivruchu v'yomer. This is Melchizedek, blessing of Kadosh Baruch Hu and Avram Avinu. Baruch Avram the El Elyon Konei Shamaris, which is exactly what we just quoted now.
Right.
This is where we know. This pasuk is where we know that Avram Avinu was considered a Kinyan Echad, one of the Kinyanim possessions of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Now, the question was asked. That in this paragraph here that I'm highlighting, if you see that paragraph, V'yosek kasha, right? You could read that. This is part of the explanation of the answer to this question. You could read that if you like.
The Yoser. I don't see that. That's on page 2 or it's on page 1? It's on page 1. I see. The Yosher Kasha Shahavi Roy Ki Avraham
Raya. Havi a Raya that brings a proof.
Raya proof. And another question that he brings a proof since Abraham is a unique acquisition. Velo who's char b'kasuv rak shemayim v'aretz lo Avraham.
Right. This is the question that it's not whose car. It's not mentioned because Kasav in the pasuk. It's not mentioned in the pasuk. Rak Shemayim V'aretz. The only thing mentioned in the pasuk is about the heavens and the earth. V'lo Avraham. Then Avraham Avinu was never mentioned in that pasuk.
Right. V'od lama lo mina Shemayim bifnei atzmo v'haaretz bifnei atzmo v'zachar hashemayim v'haaretz shehem shnayim uvekatuv kasiv hashemayim kisei v'haaretz hadom raglav Kol echad de'echad bifnei atzmo. And furthermore, why do we not count the heavens bifnei? What's bifnei?
Bifnei Atzmo, individually. Actually, this is a secondary question. He's asking why are the Shemayim Ba'aretz counted as one thing? Each one should be considered to be a separate kinyan in and of itself, which should put it to 6 kinyanim, not 5 kinyanim. Shemayim Ba'aretz is one of the kinyanim. Well, the question is why are Shemayim Ba'aretz one kinyan? It should be one kinyan for Shemayim, one kinyan for Aretz. That would make 6 instead of 5. That's a secondary question. Our primary question is this first line, that why was the proof brought for Avram Avinu based on the pasuk which is mentioning about Shemayim Ba'aretz, when in fact there's no mention about the kinyan in reference to Avram Avinu. And yet here, what we're learning about now in our second document is that the explanation to that question is found in our second document in that paragraph we just did. But we're going to hold off. It's getting late, so we're going to hold off and review these paragraphs tomorrow, and we'll come up with the clarification of the question and a clarification of the answer. Okay, thank you, Lou. Very good reading. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Rabbi.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much. I'm sorry that I've messed up my entrance. Anyway.
Sorry you had problems with the computer. Hope to see you tomorrow bright and early.
Refuah Shalema to your computer, Roy.
What?
Refuah Shalema to your computer.
Thank you.
You,
The computer. Okay. Bye.
Have a good afternoon. We'll see you.
Bye.
Okay, we'll be starting the Mishnah
In a few minutes.
shortly.